Okay, let's think about digital currency for a second. What if it wasn't just, about transactions? What if it was more about shared purpose? Today, we're doing a deep dive into something called ShareCoin. And it's this really fascinating system that kind of blends finance, community, even philosophy. It feels
Mhm.
like it's trying to redefine what money can be.
Yeah, that's a great way to frame it. ShareCoin is a digital currency, technically, but it's fundamentally different. You can think of it as representing a fractional stake,
State.
a piece of a carefully selected investment market. And here's the key part. Its value isn't just based on speculative buzz or hype. It's directly tied to the average profit-to-cost ratio of all the approved projects running within its system.
Ah, okay. So real results.
Exactly. I mean, the value genuinely reflects real market outcomes. That makes it feel much more, well, tangible.
Right. You've actually called ShareCoin a collective investment ritual. That sounds
Yeah.
profound. Can you maybe unpack that a bit? How does it
Hold on.
actually work day to day to create that kind of feeling?
Sure. So the core mechanism is how it's valued. The price directly mirrors the average performance of all the active investment projects. Let's take an example from the source material. Imagine the average profit-to-cost ratio across the board is, say, 300%.
Okay, 300%.
So maybe a project cost $250,000 and pulled in $750,000 profit. In that kind of environment, even holding a tiny 0.1% stake in that collective pool would mean your stake is worth $750.
Wow. Okay, so you're holding a piece of actual measured success.
Precisely. Your value comes from real-world performance.
That makes the value feel very direct. Now, how do these projects get into the system in the first place? The sources mentioned voting.
Yes, there's a voting system. New projects are proposed, and existing investors vote them in. And importantly, it's a one-person, one-vote system.
One person, one vote. What does that achieve? Does it really filter projects effectively? Any downsides?
It acts as a really powerful democratic filter. The idea is it ensures broad access, not just for the wealthy. And it naturally tends to screen out weaker proposals.
Hmm.
And it's more than just voting. Investors often share comments, their rationale. It creates this transparent sort of ritualized gatekeeping process.
Interesting. Like a shared due diligence.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And for liquidity, if you want to sell your share coin, you can sell it to project owners who might need it or to other investors. It establishes a secondary market, but the value is always anchored to those current real-time profit ratios.
Okay, that makes sense. So let's say I'm listening and I'm thinking about getting involved. What are the direct benefits for me as an investor?
Right, for you, the investor.
Yeah.
Well, first, fractional ownership. You can get a piece of potentially high-value projects without needing huge amounts of capital.
Okay, accessibility.
Yeah. Then there's automatic diversification. Because you're investing in the average performance, you have exposure to a whole portfolio. That lowers your risk compared to backing just one thing. There's also clear potential for yield, passive income, if the projects generally do well. And as we just mentioned, liquidity, you can sell your stake when you need to.
And what about the benefits for the whole ecosystem? It seems like it could be really efficient.
It really aims to be. For the ecosystem, it encourages efficient capital allocation. Money flows to projects that have genuine community backing and demonstrate potential or results. It also promotes financial inclusion, theoretically. Anyone can participate, not just accredited investors. And the governance is transparent. Voting records, project data, it's all meant to be public and auditable.
That sounds quite robust, but how does the company behind ShareCoin keep the lights on? What's their model?
Good question. They have several planned revenue streams, things like standard transaction fees when ShareCoin is bought or sold, fees for listing projects, and for initial vetting services to ensure quality. They might offer premium analytics or tools for investors too.
Okay, services.
Right. Plus, they could hold a reserve of ShareCoin themselves, benefiting if the overall system thrives, and potentially offer exchange and lending services within the platform.
You've laid out the mechanics really clearly, but you mentioned philosophy earlier. What really sets ShareCoin apart on that deeper level, the symbolic value idea?
Absolutely. This is where it gets, I think, really unique. ShareCoin tries to embody trust. Each coin isn't just currency. It's like a vote of confidence in the collective effort, in shared creation.
A vote of confidence.
Yeah. And transactions aren't just entries in a ledger. They become part of a shared story, a kind of legacy encoding for the community. The governance, that democratic ritual we talked about, isn't just about who has the most money. It's about participation, earning your say.
So influence comes from engagement, not just wealth.
That's the goal. It allows the system, hopefully, to show resilience and harmony, adapting like a living thing based on the collective will, rather than being dominated by a few big players or whales.
Of course, any new system like this faces hurdles. What about challenges like, say, price swings or regulatory issues? How is ShareCoin designed to handle those?
They've definitely thought about that. For volatility, the core idea is that by pegging value to real project performance, it should inherently be less volatile than purely speculative assets.
Okay, grounded in reality.
Exactly. For regulatory uncertainty, the strategy seems to be framing ShareCoin primarily as a utility token, something used within the ecosystem, and crucially working closely with legal experts.
Makes sense.
And governance abuse.
Yeah.
That one person, one vote rule is the direct countermeasure. It's specifically designed to prevent that whale dominance issue, where a few large holders can dictate everything.
So when we boil it all down, what's the core thing that makes ShareCoin truly different?
I'd say it's that it tries to be more than the sum of its parts. It's not just a currency, it's presented as a symbolic economy. It's not just investment, it's framed as the ritual of shared belief, of building something together.
Right.
And it's not just governance. It aims to be a democratic guild, a community of creators working collectively.
That's a powerful vision. It leaves you thinking, doesn't it? Consider this. How does a digital system that weaves together economic value with shared belief, transparent participation, and real-world results, how does that challenge our usual ideas about finance and community? What does it really mean for you when your investment is also, fundamentally, a vote of confidence in a collective story being written together, something to mull over?